Hi, my name is Roland Nairnsey. I want to welcome you to EXCIA. What is EXCIA, I hear you say? Well, it stands for Excellence in Action. So there are wonderful podcasts out there that I enjoy listening to, as I'm sure you do as well. But I want to show you what excellence looks like for new home sales and marketing. So over the year, I'm going to interview people that are involved in our industry, but actually show you their work so you get a really good feel for what excellence looks like in action. So enjoy EXCIA. All right, here I am for the first ever episode of EXCIA, which stands for Excellence in Action, with three wonderful guests. Thank you so much for joining us. We're so happy to have you. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. And let me introduce my wonderful guests. So we have Jacoby Winslet, who is Community Sales Manager at Timbercraft Homes in Oklahoma. Hi, Jacoby.
Hey, happy to be here.
Good, good. And then we have Nicole and Cody, who work together at Chesapeake Homes. So Nicole Maggio and Cody Majors. Nicole is Director of Marketing for Chesapeake Homes, and Cody is the content specialist there and expert videographer. So I can't wait to get going. So the theme today, what we're talking about is how to increase traffic and sales through the creative use of video and social media. So I can't wait to get started. So Jacoby, why don't we start with you? And if you wouldn't mind, tell us a little about yourself, your story, and what prompted you to sort of get so immersed into the world of social media as well.
Sure. Thank you, Roland. Super excited to be here and be part of this. So my story, it's pretty short and simple. I'm from Oklahoma City, so I've been here my whole life. Grew up here on the north side of OKC. I grew up in the inner city, so not in the greatest areas. And obviously that alone kind of inspired me to want higher and more and better in life. And so went to school here at a small private school, went off to college at OU. I studied sociology while I was in school. I always wanted to be a police officer. So that is actually what I was focusing on and majoring in. I actually left school and went to the police academy. So I did fulfill that. I was in law enforcement for a total of 4 years.
I didn't know this about you. I'm learning already. See, there we go.
Yeah.
How fascinating. Wow. Before you became an influencer on Instagram, you were a police officer. Good for you.
That would have been a good job, though, an influencing police officer. That would have been pretty
Yeah, that's true. Thank you for your service,
so yeah,
by the way.
that's what I did. I did law enforcement before this, and I had always been interested in real estate, and I was so happy to have kind of found my footing in new home sales specifically, and so here we are.
Yeah. Well, good. And then what is it that prompted you to get into social media or mix it with the new home sales? Like what was the issue that you were trying to resolve? Maybe a little bit of background about Timbercraft and when you got there, what was there, and then what you started to do. Which I think the journey you went on was somewhat organic. It wasn't a plan you had. It just sort of opened up in front of you, and you've done a great job of influencing and driving traffic, from what I can understand.
Well, thank you. It definitely wasn't planned. It kind of just happened. Whenever I first started here at Timbercraft, we had a marketing team that kind of handled most of the marketing stuff that we had. But the individual sales reps or sales agents were responsible for promoting yourself, of course, and bringing in your own traffic in addition to the natural builder traffic that comes in. And so in your training, you touch on the franchise model of, utilizing your builder's name and brand in order to benefit you and bring in more business. And so I really just took that and ran with it. The biggest problem that I seen for my particular builder at that time was we didn't have much of a social media presence. And so it was so often that I would meet new realtors and then so they're like, oh, I never heard of Timbercraft. I expect for, the random buyers and stuff to have not heard of us. That's okay. But the fact that realtors that were pretty prominent in our city did not know who we were was a problem for me. And so I just started making content. I had no idea that it would go to the levels that it is today. I'm so grateful for it. But it definitely wasn't planned, but that was the problem. We just didn't have enough exposure, and I needed to do something that could at least start that exposure and get our name out there, more people know who we were.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And talking about success and exposure, I checked just before, and you've got 44,500 followers on Instagram, which is, so you're an Insta star. I mean, 44,000 is amazing. There's a video that we're going to bring up in a second. And what is it? It has 36,000 views on Instagram. So I'll do a video on Instagram. I'll get 50 views if I'm lucky, maybe 100. I think, well, I got 100 views and 10 likes. You're getting, what does that say? 36 views. That's incredible. So obviously what you're doing is getting attention. Now, since we have Nicole and Cody on the call, one of the very interesting things, and the reason I really wanted to speak to the three of you is, a lot of companies I work with would have an absolute fear of letting a salesperson go off and just do their own thing. And, is the brand going to be in jeopardy? And are we safe with that? So, Nicole, what are you? I know you're very pioneering and sort of leading edge with your openness towards salespeople doing some stuff and getting the brand going. So could you sort of expand upon that?
Yeah, no, I think that's really important for, creativity isn't just one person or one department. It has to really flow from everyone in the company, the people in the office, the people on site, like anyone that we can get inspiration from. And I think giving that opportunity to on-site sales agents is a fantastic one. As long as you kind of set the parameters for, what you're looking for, don't do anything inappropriate. Obviously we want to, you're still representing the brand. So do what you would do to represent them at a realtor function or anytime you're representing your brand. Act like that. Do your social media posts and really see what you can get from there. I think it's what Jacoby has done is amazing. I think when we looked last week, you were at $42,000. So 2,000 a week. So obviously it works and it gets the exposure, and the on-site agents working in tandem with the marketing department, I think is a match made in heaven there. So
yeah, exactly. Good.
Point of clarification, I'm still at 42. I think it might be 42.4.
Okay, I was gonna say, I was like,
I wrote down 44,200.
I'm like, man, did I get that many?
I was like, what are you doing?
I think you're 44 too, but it's all right.
No,
yeah, my Insta skills may not be as good as yours, or I know they're not as good as yours. So yeah. So why don't we continue on with Jacoby? So what was your goal in doing this? Really, you said the marketing department had shrunk down. There wasn't much of a marketing department. I think the sales team was shrinking as you got there as well. So really, my understanding is you're almost a one-man show, and yet you're setting records with sales right now. So that's not right now, for the last year, which has been amazing. So it looks like the results have been very effective. So tell us a bit more about, again, what you were trying to fix and how you did it.
Yeah, so whenever I started, there were a total of 4 sales agents on our team, and then we had, of course, a sales manager. We had a online sales, and then we had someone who did our marketing. I will say though that like our marketing was nothing like what Cody and Nicole are doing. She was doing a lot of just like kind of static images and graphics and pictures, and so there was a major lack of video, which we know video is the name of the game now. That's what people are watching and will actually stop and look at. If it's a picture or a static image, most of the time I'm just scrolling past. So
okay, well, there's a big takeaway that we have a lot of people watching this podcast that might not even figure that out. Video is the key as opposed to static. Seems obvious to you guys, but old folks like me, we don't know that stuff. I'll put 10 pictures of myself, so no more. Now it's going to be a video.
It is absolutely a thing.
Okay.
So once I started doing the videos rolling, and I noticed that it was getting traction, and that I would get more views, and not only views but more interaction or messages, or phone calls from it, I was like, okay, obviously there's something to it. So I started taking it a little bit more serious. That has progressed today to where I have like a content recording schedule. So every week, 2 days a week for 2 hours each of those days, I just record content. The same way that I have a block for prospecting is the same way that I have a block for content creation and editing. And so that is how I'm able to kind of keep myself consistent with it to ensure that I keep the content coming. And whenever I do those planning blocks of like, okay, if I say, hey, if it's on my schedule for Thursday from 12 to 2, I'm recording content, I may record 10 different videos in that time frame. And I also may
Wow.
not edit it for a month or so, just kind of depends.
Sure.
But I stop and I do it every single week, because if I decided right now, which I have, of course, like scheduled posts, but if I decided in the moment, like, hey, I want to post something today, I have so
Mhm.
much content in my phone that I can go back, I can find something that I could
That's amazing.
put out there.
Good.
So I started definitely being a little bit more consistent and strategic with it.
Sure.
Once you see like, okay, hey, this is actually working, this
Hmm.
catches people's attention. It definitely motivated me, of course, and more sales rolling in. And you know how that
Right.
is. You get one, it's okay, now I want three more. And
Yeah, yeah.
if I can get, two sales from a video that took me 3 minutes to
Wow.
record, that's a no-brainer.
It's amazing. Well, good. I am going to bring up some content, because I think that, we've positioned this, that this is more of a show than just a podcast, where you can watch the content and learn what we're going to do. So we're going to show your videos. We'll show Nicole's and Cody's. I can't wait to see it. Can you tell us, we can tell us a story about one that you had a result with, just to give us an idea of what you're talking about in terms of driving in traffic? Because what you just said was so, what's the word, out of the ordinary, that people might be listening and go, I don't really believe that, like, okay, so you make a video and you got a sale, like, really? I mean, that's really that return on investment, is that trackable? So could you sort of give us a bit more meat on the bones with that whole
Yeah.
idea, if you don't mind? Yeah. To
Absolutely.
inspire
I would
people to
say
follow.
it's 100% trackable. And one thing that I do, and I also stress it to the consultants that are on my team, you need to really do a thorough discovery whenever you're sitting down with these people and find out exactly how they heard about you. And don't just
Sure.
assume they came in because of an open house sign. So when I meet with
Hmm.
someone and they say, "Oh, I seen you on social media," I don't say,
Sure.
"Okay, cool." What I want to know, what specific video was it? Like, what was I doing? What did I say? Like, I try and figure
Right.
out if I can pinpoint where exactly it came from or what their first introduction to me was. That way I
Perfect.
know, and I can go back and I can say, okay, well, that video got them. Like, and especially if it's a video that I can pinpoint multiple leads back to, then I know, hey,
Hmm.
that's the type of content that I need to continue doing. If you look
Yeah.
at your stuff that does really well, it'll tell you the type of things that are going to attract people's attention.
Right.
So it is often, I mean, it is honestly more times than I can count that people either DM me or call me or come up to me at a grocery store and they're like, hey, I follow you on social media, and
Right.
they want to buy a house. It's that
Yeah,
simple.
yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah.
sometimes it is, a specific video that someone may have seen. Have had tons of them where, someone just seen a video on their For You page, for example, and they happen to be looking for a house. And so
Mm.
that brings them to my page and they'll reach out.
All right.
But there are, I mean, there's honestly too many situations to count as far as specific
Sure.
from a video, but I will tell you that doing the content consistently,
Right.
it really will kind of not even matter about a specific video. It'll matter about that people see your face. They can see, hey, this is
Right.
a real person. This is a
Sure.
professional person as well. They'll see what you do. And when the time
Hmm.
comes for them to purchase a home, they're going to
Hmm.
call you. That's the goal. I
Perfect.
want to be top of mind when you think of new
Right.
construction.
Well, and
Well,
I
one
think it's
more.
a good point too that he's bringing up, because, this is
Thank you.
why what we do from a marketing department is really important for the brand, but it's really important also for the on-site agents to have their part in this, because they're creating that like humanization behind the brand, and
Right.
they're getting people excited to meet with them, and they're giving that warm fuzzy feeling at a different level. And I think that's
Yeah.
where that cooperation really comes in handy as well.
No, it's amazing. I mean, one more, just to dig down deeper on this, is lovely thing about this forum is we've got time to get really into it. And then I would like to bring up a video, show that, and then we'll go over to Nicole as well. But you said that you dedicate 2 hours a week to content creation. Is that what? Good. And then how many videos, like what kind of consistent rate do you need to post to accomplish what you want? Like how many videos and what period of time? I remember I was at a car meet with my son. My son's crazy about cars, still is, and he follows these influencers that have millions of followers on YouTube, I think it is. And one of these gentlemen was very nice and spent 10 minutes with Max and said, Max, it's every day for him. It's every day. You got, whether you feel like it or not, you got to post something, and it's just getting that audience used to you being there. I know it's not that extreme with new home sales, but what would the cadence be of the amount of videos that need to be posted somewhere for you to have a presence on social media?
I
What
feel
would
like
you say?
I feel like Nicole will be able to give you a more polished answer for that question.
Yeah, we're both.
For
More like
me,
Cody.
And Cody, let's bring Cody in. Yeah, Cody is the politest man on the Zoom for sure.
Yeah.
yeah, I will
So,
tell
yeah,
you, for me, I don't have I think we've discussed this before, and I said I would love to post every day, like in a great world, in a perfect world. That's
right.
where I want
Not
to get
practical
to.
though.
I aspire to be there.
Yeah.
But I do try and post a reel at least every other day, and I try to
Okay.
put something on my story each day. The biggest thing is
Sure.
consistency and activity. We know activity breeds activity, and sometimes, like if I let's say I don't post for 2 days, it's to the point now that people will like text me like, "Hey, are you good?" Like I couldn't
Oh
check,
wow.
I couldn't keep up with what you're doing
Wellness
today.
check on
Yeah,
Jacoby.
because you haven't posted anything. So people,
All right.
you'll realize that people are looking forward to it. And if you
Yeah.
post and they don't see,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
you being consistent and you stop, people are going to notice. So
Yeah.
I aspire to get there. For me, it's not every day, but it's like every other day, and I do try and
That's
post.
good. Yeah. Is that the same for you, Nicole and Cody? I mean, how often are you posting stuff to try to create a following?
Cody, do
Yeah,
you want to run with that? Yeah.
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 It's definitely we're on the same cadence of about every other day here as well.
Really.
And I think, one of the most important parts that Jacoby made was that your audience does become used to kind of seeing you. And whether that's if your cadence is daily, if your cadence is, every Monday you're doing a certain type of post, they get used to that and they start to expect it. And that's the important part is to kind of build this expectation of when people can plan on
Sure.
seeing you or your content in some form of way,
Wow.
and then continuing to meet that expectation. So, just for example, and this isn't a video that I sent over to you, but one of our photo posts that do really well is every single Monday. We call it a Move In Monday. We get all of our agents on site will send us photos of people who have moved in, holding the sign, holding the, we said yes to the address key sign.
Oh, nice.
And those people know that those are coming now on Mondays,
Really?
and those continue to be some of our best performing posts organically. And I
Wow.
think a lot of that's credited just due to the expectation of it's Monday. We get to see a new person in a new
Oh,
community.
interesting.
Yeah,
Good.
and I
Good.
think
Good. Good.
about it from my perspective. I mean, when I'm like the influencers that I follow, if I don't see them for a while, I'm like, same thing that you said. I'm like, where are they? So you
Yeah.
look
Yeah.
forward to their content. You get excited about it.
Do you
Right.
call them and ask them where
I,
they or?
it's more of a parasocial relationship,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Hey, Ryan Reynolds, where are you? Oh, he's not really influencer. Okay. Yeah. Well, all right. I've got some takeaways. I'm a big recap guy. So every other day is what you're sort of recommending. A similar post on the same day of the week. So Cody suggested, your what did you call it with the address?
Oh,
Celebrating the
say
address.
yes to the address. It's one of
Say
the
yes to
signs
the
that we have.
address. Yeah. So you're celebrating past. So every Monday there's a consistency, and then Jacoby, I heard you say that activity breeds activity. So that's a great use of that for social media. That people see you're active. You're active. I think it's sort of that socialization aspect. People get that you're successful and you're out there. So I think it's time. So I want to bring up videos, but what I want to say to the audience that's watching is that you can go and look at plenty more videos on their websites. Like I think we're going to show 3 from each of you, but there's plenty more. When with Jacoby, honestly, you know how Instagram is so addictive. At least it is for me. I think there's dopamine, and you just want to watch more. And I started scrolling your videos, and man, you're in your Range Rover, you got the music going, and so only picking 3 is sort of hard to do, really.
bingeable. It's bingeable content for sure.
It's very bingeable. Yeah, you create very watchable content. Some of it you have to read. It's not all audio and stuff like that. But so we'll bring up 3. But please, for everyone's contact info will be on the on the info for the podcast. So go check it out. So let me bring up Cody's first video. We're going to look at the closing cost one.
For the
What
record,
is-
it is incredibly cringy to like watch stuff.
Yeah, well,
It is.
all right. I was going to say, Jacoby, this is the most kind of, I don't know, Bob real estate kind of one, where it's the most real estate one you have where, hey, I'm paying closing costs. Everything else is much more like sort of very, more sort of, I don't know, tangential, more more modern, but it works and it got a lot of views. It
Well,
got
it's a great point too of how hard it is to be on camera when it's yourself and how you have to really put yourself out there and
He's so handsome. Have a look at Jacoby. What a handsome dude. If I look like him, I'd be on video every day. All right, I am going to play his damn video once and for all.
I haven't even met you yet, and I want to help pay your closing costs. If you're looking for a new home in the Oklahoma City, Edmond, or Deer Creek areas, whether you need a move-in ready home or a personalized build, I would be honored to guide you through that journey. The details are in the caption below.
All right, there we go. A round of applause. But Jacoby, that was amazing. So tell us about that video and what was on your mind when you created it and what were the results?
Yeah, absolutely. So that video, some of my content, Roland, you mentioned earlier that like that one was the most like real estate, like ish video, if you will. I try and have like the secret to, I think, my social media success is the fact that I really try and have a good balance of personal and professional. I want people to see who I am as an individual, and I also want them to know what I do, obviously. And so I noticed and I realized that when I used to just post like a house tour or like my just closed picture, stuff like that, it may get a few likes. Like my grandma's gonna like it, and my aunt, and, they're gonna so happy for you, right? But it wasn't getting that big reach. And so the switch or the key for me was when I started incorporating more of my personal life, letting people see who I am, see the person behind what all is taking place. And that's when it kind of started clicking. And so I keep that in mind with my content. Like Nicole said earlier, absolutely ensuring that, and that can be a fine line sometimes of like, okay, what is too personal and what's not, but ensuring that whatever it is, I am still representing the brand well and parties involved. And so with that particular video, I actually created that video with the intention of running an ad on it. And so I was very strategic and specific in that I knew that I knew, hey, I need to get a new ad up. And so I mentioned previously that I look at past ads to determine like, hey, what should I do or how should I edit my content? And if I had one video or one type of video that did really well, then I utilize those same tactics in a new one. So with that one specifically, it was my content creation block, and I was like, okay, I know I need to make something for an ad. Obviously, rates are crazy right now, and so just trying to find creative ways to drive traffic. And a big one that has worked for us here recently is covering closing costs. So I was like, what's a video I can make that if someone was just scrolling would maybe at least get them to stop for a second, even if it's to look at and think, who's this Barbie doll of a man or whatever the crazy comments I get all the time. That's a real comment.
That's nice.
Comments you can't let the comments hold you back.
Hey, I can tell you that right now, and I was not prepared for it. Like
no. How did you respond? It's probably a compliment, honestly.
Well, now I just laugh at the troll. And I've accepted it as part of it. That's just part of having
good looking person
that reach a decent amount of people. So I've accepted it. But yeah, that video specifically was very intentional. I have gotten two for sure sales off of that video where they told me, hey, I seen that one. That's why I came here. And yes, we did pay their closing costs.
And I think the great thing about that video too is that you want, from a marketing perspective, you really want something that's going to catch people's attention. You can't be wordy, and the attention getter there that's going to stop people in their tracks is I could get fired for this. And we know it's closing costs. Like we know we're closing costs out, but it's trying to get that attention, trying to get them to stop in the midst of scrolling everything. So I think that's really good. It's something we're focusing on from our aspect and making subject lines more appealing and headlines more appealing because you have 1 second to get through.
It's Nicole is. Oh, sorry, Roland. I was going to say Nicole is spot on with that as far as the cover photo caption that says I could get fired for this. And then once they play the video, the very first thing that I say is I haven't even met you yet, and I want to pay. It's just it's something that immediately grabs your attention. It's like Yeah, I haven't met you. And what are you doing for me?
Right. No, I was going to mention that. That's the part I like, because I don't even know you yet. I haven't met you yet. So, oh, that's
Right.
a very interesting hook to start a video with that I never would have thought of. But it gets you to like, well, you don't. So what's up with that? Like, what are you going to tell me to get my attention? It was great. So good.
Thank
So
you.
36,000 views, which isn't really the goal to get all those views. I mean, it's nice, but the goal is to drive in qualified traffic that end up buying a home. And that's what they did. So too, which is fantastic. Let's introduce formally Nicole and Cody. I didn't do you service there, or do justice rather. So Nicole, if you could introduce yourself and your story, and then introduce Cody for me, and why you brought this fellow along
Yes.
with us, and
Yeah.
what the unique position you created was. All right.
So I'm the director of marketing at Chesapeake Homes, and I actually started in on-site sales back in 2014
There we
and
go.
transitioned over to the marketing side in 2020. That's when
Interesting.
when I went to school for marketing. I went to Old Dominion in Norfolk, Virginia, and
Oh, nice.
I held off for a while after I graduated until I could find just the right marketing job. So once I, got into the sales role and transitioned to this side, because it's really great, because I feel like I've kind of had the aspect of both sides of the coin here, and it's
Yeah.
helped, I think, make me a better marketer in a lot of cases. But now I also laugh because I'm like, oh, if I went back to sales, I feel like I would do it so different now that I know what I know on the marketing side. So it's really
Sure.
great to have that well-roundedness there from being
Yeah.
on both of those. And back in 2021, we decided, once I had moved up to managing the marketing department, we decided that we were going to bring on somebody who was going to focus on content full time. And we were noticing that the job was kind of living with our marketing coordinators. And we know a marketing coordinator role is very much a catch-all role of marketing. They're expected to know a lot about a lot. And marketing is a very broad topic. And
Yes.
getting little specialists here and there just makes it function a little bit better. So we wanted consistency, and we weren't getting that because the coordinators weren't having the time to put into social media or content in general. So that is where this role kind of grew from, and I didn't know what I was doing with it. It was a totally new role to us, and our team over at DYC, Do You Convert, that we work with, helped me kind of draft up a job description of what this could be.
Good.
So
Yeah.
that's important to have resources like Roland and Do You Convert and everybody that can help you with that stuff.
Yeah. Kevin and the guys over
Yeah,
there.
fantastic. So they helped us get a Cody. So I saw Cody's resume, and we weren't initially going to bring in somebody who had, video production skills, but we ended up getting one with Cody, which was fantastic. It was just, an extra little plus there. But it's not necessary for that role, because it's very, we're driving a lot more short form and social media these days. That it's really, if you can get somebody who is really in tune with that, that's really what that role would consist of. So that's a little bit about me and Cody's role. And so Cody, take it away.
Yeah.
Cody, yeah.
No, thank you. So, I'm Cody. Prior to Chesapeake Homes, I had marketing background. I was working for a national brand, an outdoor power equipment manufacturer here in Virginia Beach, and was doing a lot of marketing for them. And so when I was looking to leave and kind of find something that let me be a little bit more creative, kind of use the creative side of my brain in my everyday role, I came across the role at Chesapeake Homes that Nicole is hiring for. And I think being able to have that marketing background that I had has helped in the role. It's just helped me be able to kind of think all of the ways that Nicole has kind of outlined how we're trying to operate. It's helped me be able to be more of an asset in that position and in the content that we create that we'll go over a little bit later. I'll kind of touch on some of what I mean, but just being able to ask the right questions when you're looking at social, when you're looking at the insights, and how Jacoby's talked about, he's looking at his videos and paying attention to them to help him determine what to make in the future. And that's a really important part of it. And I think that's an important part of my job with our content, is kind of just always paying attention, asking those questions, and then making those decisions based on how the content's performing, to help you kind of build what you're going to continue creating in the future. So.
Well, good. And your ability ranges from just shooting testimonial videos, well, not just, but you do a very good job with them. But you also do drone footage and and pictures of houses. Am I correct in that, or as well as
Yeah,
that? Or
so
yeah,
yep,
or
so I
direct
brought
the
in camera skills. I'll just kind of give myself a rounded camera
yeah,
skills. I can do video, I can do photo. I
right,
had a drone personally, so we got a drone here that I know how to fly. So bringing all of those kind of bonus skills, as Nicole was putting it,
yeah,
what the nice to haves allowed me to do a lot, really from the first day I got here, and was
right,
able to just I think the big thing for Chesapeake Homes was take a lot of what typically is outsourced and now have it in house,
right,
and be able to get drone video, be able to
yeah,
get home photos, be able to get video of any sort, whether it's testimonials, putting it on a gimbal and doing walkthroughs of homes. Like all of that stuff became kind of in my wheelhouse since I had the ability to do it. So,
right, right.
yeah, just those skills I think helped as well.
Yeah. Sorry, hats off to you, Nicole, for having that desire to say, hey, videos are so important. We probably should look at a full-time position. There's an economic theory that when you have bad traffic and you widen the roads, well, the traffic just gets more. It just keeps filling up. And I think that probably when you think I need some video, well, now you have a full-time videographer on staff. It's like, well, maybe we got a lot more. What if Cody could do this, and what if he could do that? Is it sort of manifested and of course Chesapeake? You're in 3 states. I think you're in North and South Carolina and Virginia. Which includes coastal Virginia. So you probably got a lot of places you can go and shoot video if you really think about it. Is that sort of what happened?
Yeah, it definitely grew. I think it started with a lot of that because we didn't have that. Like we were
Right.
doing social media and Cody was still posting social media, but it was almost like we were a kid in a candy store at that point of like, oh my gosh, look at what we have now at our disposal.
Right.
And so, we really got heavy into getting as many testimonial videos as we could,
Good.
more consistently than we had
Yeah.
ever had them before. I think, we used to do them more in spurts when we could
Yeah.
have it, but now it was
Yeah.
okay, anytime we need one, we could have one done.
Right.
So that's, it definitely helped with things like that.
Perfect, perfect. And that whole ability, yeah, I know that the marketers, Kevin at Do You Convert, I listen to him a lot, and he talks about content, content, content. And so the fact that can go get great pictures and great video of your homes, we're not going to have those models forever. We might have one example of a home plan, but have 5 other homes we build in a neighborhood. Well, now you have a library, thanks to Cody,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
homes where your sales will go, okay, you want to look at the Chatham 3, well, let me show you a video of that. Or, I'm probably exaggerating, but that concept that you're able to create a library of content because you have a full-time person doing that. Is that sort of helped a little bit with sales as well, since the team is increasing sales?
Definitely having that.
Yeah.
Having testimonials, having that just
Yeah.
in and of itself is huge because of that social proof aspect of seeing other people. And then,
Social.
what we've really done is, okay, if Cody shoots a long form video, then he just snips it down into shorter forms for social
Right.
media and uses it there. And we use it on eBlast, and we use it, on the website. We have a video gallery now. So there's a lot of different places that we were, able to pull from and
Yeah.
utilize that.
Perfect, perfect. Well, I think what I'd like to do, if it's okay, is share a couple of your videos. So again, the theme here is not just social media, but how to use video to increase sales. And so I'd like to start with a funny video some of your salespeople made, because you've encouraged them to just pick up a phone and shoot videos of themselves and use that for their follow-up. So here we are. Let's watch the video of Katrina and Malia. All right, here we go.
Here at Asheville Park, don't forget, you can fall in love with your new home. Happy fall, y'all!
All right, so tell us about that one, guys. What was that all about, and what were the results?
That was just Katrina, God love her. She will always get on camera, and she always has such a great sense of humor when she does it. And she, I think, dragged Malia along with her that day just for some on camera fun. So this is just something we were trying to urge them to get in front of people, not just via email. Sending out just emails through your CRM black and white is just not exciting to people anymore. So we're like trying to get those feedback appointments by doing video instead. And they had sent this over. I think they sent it to our online sales team. Our online sales team also used it in some follow-up. So it kind of was able to be used on both ends of the coin there, and just got some appointments back out, and some responses from buyers on that maybe you just don't get that response when you send that black and white email. So Mhm.
Sorry, it's so charming. It's fun. They just look so cute and happy and peppy. And it's like, those are my sales team. I'm going to go in and see. If I'm a buyer, I'm thinking, well, perfect timing. I was ready to go back out anyway. Why not see them and go look? And it drove in traffic and drove in sales. Let me pull up another video of Cindy, who was announcing I believe, an incentive.
Hi, Cindy Clemens here with Chesapeake Homes. Just reaching out to give you guys some good news. We do have a new incentive that was just released today on our 2 inventory homes here at Haven. So I wanted to give you a heads up, let you know what it is. We have $20,000 available to use anyway. So if you want to take it off your price, if you want to use it for closing costs, maybe you need a refrigerator, washer, dryer, we can use that $20,000 towards that. So I have listed the addresses of the 2 homes that this incentive is available on. So give me a call and we'll see what we can do for you. Thanks.
All right. Now, I know Cindy very well. I worked with her actually at a different company prior to her joining Chesapeake about 5 or 6 years ago, and I know that she's probably fairly shy, and a lot of salespeople I think don't want to do these videos. No, that was a follow-up video. It wasn't social media, but people are shy because they don't like the way they look on camera. Can you guys, all of you, sort of address that issue for me about how people look on camera and getting over ourselves and just doing it anyway?
Yeah, I think we would all agree. It's how we all say it. It's how you look in real life. It's how people see you. Like there's nothing really different than anyone walking into a model. So
Yeah.
that's 100%.
Yeah, and Cindy looks great. So if you're watching this, Cindy, please don't think that we're anything other than that. But I know, like most of us, we're hard on ourselves. Oh, when I see myself, it's like, oh, I'm so fat, or I'm so bald, or I'm so weird in some way. But that's just who I am.
We're our own worst critic. That's not to say for no reason. Like it's because
right. Yeah.
people don't care about that, but it's
don't.
really great to see them and just be natural on there and don't make it look like it's a hostage situation.
Yeah, come rescue me.
And like, I have an incentive for like, you want to be natural. It's okay if you say or you pause or you like, that's the human aspect of it that people relate to. And that video was great because I was actually going through doing some checks of online sales appointments through Lasso one day, and I just happened upon it. Like Cindy didn't say, "Oh guys, look at this video out." I just saw it in there and I was like, I sent her an email. I was like, way to go. Like, way to go and use video and to do what you need to do to get that. And she ended up actually having a buyer see that and come back in and write a contract from that because they were a previous appointment who couldn't do it without the closing costs. And now they had that additional closing cost. So like no brainer to use that.
Yeah, and really what we're just doing is comparing video to all the other forms of follow-up. So how many of us have emails that we never open, or if we do, I mean, we might amass hundreds, if not thousands of emails, and the idea is to jump out in front of somebody and make sure they open it and watch it. So getting a video is usually the way to sort of jump the queue and make sure people will actually watch it. Jacoby, I know you were talking about that too with some of your colleagues, I think, that the fear of how you look on camera. Can you?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Nicole said it's spot on. It's how you look on cameras, how you look whenever they come and meet you in real life, and how you sound the same. And so that's like an internal thing that you just have to figure out how you can get over. For me, I am a perfectionist with everything that I do. And so I was really hard on myself of like, if I didn't look exactly the way I wanted to, or things along that lines, I wouldn't post it. And so over time, I've definitely gotten better with it to where like in the beginning, I used to edit out every time that I said, now it's just like, if you're getting however many I said in that video, and so it's just a little bit more natural, and I think it makes it more personable too. But video is definitely, like I said earlier, it's the way to go. And so if you want to have this avenue of driving in traffic and sales, you have to get over your own fear or disposition regarding how you look. Now, do yourself up, make yourself look decent, presentation, everything. And we know that one thing that I tell my salespeople is you need to look like the buyer that you want to attract. And so if you look nice and you look presentable, that's going to do half the job for you. Then you just need to show your personality, and if you connect, you connect. So
yeah. Now, I have actually something that hopefully this isn't a completely foolish question. It might be. I'm going to try it anyway. But I've noticed as I think about it with your social media, if we're going back to social media, that you do seem to dress similarly in your videos. I think you have a sort of look and a theme. Is that right? I see a lot of orange, if I'm not imagining that. I mean, I like your high tops in there and all that kind of
That's
stuff.
just
But
because I like orange.
oh,
But
you like orange. It's not on purpose to make sure they know it's you kind of stuff. It's not a theme. Like I only wear blue. If you see someone looks like me, they're not wearing blue, it's not me. Other than a black tie, I think I'd wear a white shirt for that. But other than that, it's just not Roland if it's not
I'm
wearing
pretty
blue.
sure I told you when I seen you at IBS this year that I was disappointed because you didn't have on your light blue shirt that I'm used to seeing you with.
Oh, it was a shade of blue, though. Surely it had to be so. Okay, good. Yeah,
But
yeah.
isn't
It was,
that crazy? Because that's a brand is coming through without a brand being
Absolutely.
spoken. Like we
Yeah.
all have a brand, we're all a brand, and as an on-site agent, you kind of have what you are, and
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
what's shining through to buyers. So
Okay, good.
you know,
Yeah.
Perfect.
And
All
if I
right.
can interject real quick,
Please.
Roland, too, just at the end of this, I know Nicole would agree with this. As far as video, if there's anyone that is listening to this podcast or watching it, and they haven't quite made that step to do video, to start recording themselves and sending out video, I'm confident Jacoby would also echo this. But it gets easier the more you do it. It is one of those things and I've had people at Chesapeake Homes that were just afraid to do it, but they either changed roles into a role that had to make more video, or they worked with me so much that they had to make so many videos that after about, I don't even know, not even a month, a few weeks, but after you do it enough, it's just like they'll come to me and they'll be like, it's really not that hard. It's like it's getting over that mental hurdle of overanalyzing yourself, overanalyzing the things you say, and once you do it a handful of times, it becomes easier.
I think they call that exposure therapy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do they? I didn't know. I would write that down. So I'm gonna double check that.
The more you do it, the better it gets.
Yeah. Don't expose yourself. That's a whole other show.
Don't do that.
Nicole said expose yourself on video. How do we get there? Exposure therapy. That makes sense. Cut it off. That's the best part. But no, that's great. I totally agree with it. The more you do something and get over it, and look, not everyone's going to get 36,000 views on Insta. I swear, 50 to 100 is probably what I normally get. My son did one for me one time at an award thing. I got 500 views. Like, oh, thank you, Max, for making it better. He did his what a kid would look at kind of stuff. Since we're talking about this, and then what I want to do after this is show a couple of your social media posts, Nicole and Cody, back to back. Talk about those. Then we'll come back to Jacoby. I really can't wait to see a few more of yours, and it's all in the showing here of these things. But one time I was out in Myrtle Beach, I think, right, Nicole, and you had the sales meeting, and I travel all across the country, and I don't get to see marketing managers that often meeting with salespeople. So I was just impressed that you were having a meeting, and we can address that. But also, I think you handed out a list of different topics that you could shoot on video that would be helpful. So A, could you talk about it? B, could I attach that to this podcast if people wanted to go do that? But that list was very, very interesting to me. Could you address both of those things?
Yeah,
Sort of synergy with the sales team and then what you gave them to do.
Yeah, I think it's easy for me to get involved with the sales team because I came from that side.
6 years.
That's definitely helpful, but I think it's also necessary. It's, I think a lot of places have rifts between sales and marketing,
Yeah,
sales and marketing and online sales. And a big thing that we were trying to do when I came into this role was we're bringing it all together. Like we're here to help each other. And what's funny is when Cassie, our director of sales, was doing that meeting, she's like, can you order lunch for us? And I was like, I will order lunch, but as your lunch sponsor, I need 1 hour of your time. So I bartered with her, and that's where I got some time to go over my little PowerPoint of how we can work better creatively together. So a lot of times I think the issue with sales and why they don't move forward with things is that they just don't have that creative brain to do that. Not that they're not creative in other ways, but like to think of posts, because they're not doing it. If you're not working that muscle, then it's not working out. So, Cody and I sat down together and we're like, okay, for this meeting, can we come up with a list of just ideas of things that they can send to Cody? And they all have to do is shoot the video. They don't even have to say anything. They could just shoot the video and send that to us, and we'll edit it into some sort of little short form post. So, we went down, and Cody threw this list together, which was fantastic.
Oh, did you? Okay.
And one of them was like showcase one room, showcase multiple rooms for like a little mini tour, just walk through, show specific design features, which I think one of Jacoby's videos will kind of go into that. Quick walkthrough tour, POV style videos are really popular right now, where it's like POV. I think I went out, and the thing is I went out to one of our communities and shot some stuff one day, and I was like, if I can do it, like you guys can do it too, because that's not
Sure.
my specialty either. So
Oh.
just walking through a neighborhood on a beautiful fall day, and one single leaf fell, and I was like, this is perfect. There's content.
Oh, wow.
And then day in the life videos are great. I stop on those every time I see them. I love them.
What does that mean? I mean, I get
Just,
it, but how would that
so like
apply?
a day in the life of the day in the life of a sales agent at Haven
Right.
Edsonville, and then just kind of run them through, had an appointment,
Sure.
walked inventory homes, like different ways you could just showcase how you're spending your day and
Sure.
bring some excitement around the product that you have out there kind of in the background.
Yeah.
Current events, if it's weather, we're like, if you see like a really cool sunset, or if it's a snowy day, like snap a picture and send
Beautiful.
it to us.
What a list.
So we just went through, and there's more, a little bit more on there too, but yeah.
Yeah, I saw backsplash on there. I saw like backsplash was
Yeah, if
one of
you
them.
have like one feature, if there's a feature that you really are like
Right.
loving in a house, and or a lighting fixture that you put up in a house that you really want to showcase, like send that. Like the on-site agents are our biggest resource because they spend the most time in those homes.
Right.
And we can't always be in every community at one time. So we were trying to just really formulate that relationship with them to say, hey, just throw us anything you can video wise, feed it to
Sure.
us, and we'll fluff it from there and make it marketing friendly.
Well, good. And then that's perfect. And then you were also saying that the say yes to the address. So I've been preaching that for as long as I can, whatever social media came out, because I'm on so many different salespeople's threads or builders threads where, every day I'm getting a salesperson celebrating a sale, and it it does have that that effect. What is it? The social acceptance.
Yeah.
Yeah, social proof that you're popular. So should that be a picture? Should that be a video? What's more impactful if you're going to shoot if you're going to film, take advantage of your sales as you make them, kind of stuff? What
Yeah.
three of you think?
We do most of the time. Those come in just a photo, and we can just we've actually used those photos for end of the year thank you e-blast that we
Nice.
put them all into a video for an end of the year collaboration, and been like, thank you to everybody who has come out and visited us or toured our site and stuff. So there's ways you could use that later on down the road into like a slideshow-esque video, but videos are never a bad thing. If you want to take a video of somebody putting their little dot on the home site.
Right.
Caught myself. I almost said lot. I caught myself.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, don't throw
the apple. But if you want to put that, video them doing that, like that's always a really good, and people seeing that, I think makes them feel like, okay, there's real things, real people behind these homes.
I love doing that, but I mean, obviously the buyer has to get permission for you to take a picture or video and post it. But I think it prevents buyer's remorse in a very creative way. Many years ago, like 50 to 100 years ago, in a sales book, it said when you make a sale, give people a tub of ice cream, a gallon of ice cream. Anybody know why? It's such a ridiculous. I never did it, but it was funny. So that they had to drive home. They couldn't stop at other builders. It's so daft. It really is. Honestly,
we need to try that out.
It's a sales technique.
I'm going to buy some tubs of ice cream. Right after this.
I've had people that told me they did it. And here's a jar of a tub of ice cream. Like, now you got to go home. I would just eat the whole thing if it was me. But I think this is much better. We're living in a world now where you can actually go on social media, and now they're celebrating. All their friends hopefully will see, like, you're moving. Where are you moving to? How do I learn about that? So
and if you don't have a photo release in your contract, slide one in there, because that's what.
That's a clever idea.
That way we just have it right there. And once they sign off, it's in their contract, and we know we can.
Really? Okay. In their agreement, but that's okay.
There you go.
No, you haven't been through that part of the training.
I tried.
No, it's all right. Don't worry. We're going to say, in fact, Jacoby, I think we have one of those lined up to show a video of a move-in day, right? One of your examples. So so we'll show that.
Like bing, bop, boom, 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 bop, bam. The type I'm on you with.
Let's watch it a few times.
Like bing, bop, boom, 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 bop, bam. The type I'm on you with.
Now that person looks very familiar to me. I don't know what it is, but do I know that person?
No Nicoles were harmed, and actually I did end up with some neck pain after that. But
Did you? Oh well, there you go. She's a lawyer.
A little bit. That wasn't as fluffy as I thought it was going to be, but.
All right, real quickly, can you talk to us about this one? What was the goal and what?
Cody, you want to speak into this?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess first and foremost, the one thing I want to make note about this video specifically is that we're always just kind of looking to make sure we're having fun with our content. And that kind of goes back to, Jacoby has his personality show through in his, and I think it's equally important for a brand at the brand level to have a personality. And if we had to do this too. As a brand, if you don't know what your personality is, it's going to be important to find that, because you're going to want to show that through your content for the same reasons that Jacoby does it. A brand is going to want to do that because people are going to kind of gravitate towards your personality versus just some dry branded content. So this is a good example of us kind of trying to show through our personality. Before Nicole jumps onto the bed, the idea was to show off how we can move some of our move-in ready homes, our homes that we begin building before anyone has really purchased it. And then the benefit to them is they get an expedited home build process. But from a marketing and a content standpoint, it can be kind of hard to promote these homes when they're empty, or just to promote them in general. So we were like, how can we get people interested in this? How can we kind of, tell them about these homes in a way that they're going to stop scrolling, pay attention to, and then to take it a step further, we were like, what's the message? What do we want them to get from this? And so what our goal with this video was to show that, we build the home, but you get to personalize it however you want. So we have it cut up so you gradually see, the bed starts to get made with pillows, and then the blankets, and then they add lamps, and they add flowers, and then they add those two little little stools at the edge of the bed. We have another version of this in a kitchen, and we have another version of this in a back patio. But the idea for all three is to just kind of show, hey, it's a home, but you and what you add to it really makes it your home. So that was the idea. And then at the end, I was like, Nicole, I was going to have you just making the bed, but I think it'd be funnier if you just come flying into the to the frame from the side. So that's what added the jump.
And I never turned down the opportunity for a stunt. So
Is that a special effect with your hair flying like that, or that's actually what your hair does when you jump on the bed? Oh, natural. That's great. It's a win on every level. I love it. I never thought how long that would take actually to do that. You're right. Each shot is sort of different when you set that up. So that's
and we have to put everything back exactly in the right spot.
Oh yeah.
That took a little more time than I thought it would have too.
Okay, let me pick up another one of yours. I think, is this from Step Brothers, this movie?
Yes.
So many aerobics in here. So many activities. Do step class. It's making my head spin how many activities we can do. Play Army Man. Yeah. This is how we do it.
Is that a great movie? It is. The Guys Are Idiots. Thank you to Will Ferrell for that. So a little bit of backstory on that one, and then we'll keep rolling through these.
It's really great having an online salesperson who is not afraid to do the dumb things we ask her to do.
Is that online? Is that your online salesperson? What is her name?
Danny.
Let's give her credit. Well, good. Did this get some traction?
This one did. This is one of our more recent posts. So the last one that we just watched with Nicole kind of jumping onto the bed at the end, that was more the goal there to get people to stop was that it was unique. They'd just see like a room being built all at once and then used trending audio. This one is definitely more of just a fun idea we had. We kind of had the same goal here. So this is another quick move-in home. This one was not staged. So we kind of walked into this with, we were coming up with a solution of, okay, this one, it doesn't have any furniture. What do we do? And honestly, this was kind of an organic idea. We walked into, I think, a house before this, and one of us said, there's just so much space in here. And my mind, of course, instantly went to Step Brothers, and I was like,
as it should, yeah.
And so then I'm like, I think we use that sound. There's got to be a sound out there somewhere, and we just make a video to that. So then the next house we went into, we made this video, and I think it's just one of those things where enough people will hear the sound that they'll just kind of chuckle from that very initial, so much more room for activities. But it's also like strategically, it's also making a point that our home, we do have space in our homes, and all of these rooms
it's huge.
It's kind of showing that there's space, and it's just trying to stand out in that way.
It's adorable. It really is. I think for the purpose of time, we're going to switch back to some Jacoby videos. You guys both sent me quite a few. I'm going to post them or attach them so people could go watch them if that's okay. But I think we really got the feel of what you've been talking about with your videos, with your content. What we haven't shown is you have some testimonial videos that are excellent. You have some educational videos as well that you've made, which are also excellent. So we can talk about that when we wrap up if that's okay.
We're
But
not just nonsense. We do have some educational ones too.
yeah, you got some educational ones as well. I think but for me, I am a high I like to have fun, but also I want to inspire people to be different and think out of the box. And the testimonials, a lot of builders I work with have made testimonials. They can be short, they can be long. So we've seen that. Yours are great, but we've seen that. And also the education is fantastic. But what we've shown so far are things that I think are just, out of the box creative that will stop you from scrolling and go, oh, this is a builder. Should go look at this kind of stuff. So let's look at this now, Jacoby. This is one where there's not many words, but you've written a lot. So let me bring it up, and then maybe you want to talk us through what you wrote on this.
Okay.
This year, blessing, money, testimony. Go to follow you they go. This year, good news, giant plenty bonding. Go to follow you they.
All right. Did you just watch that once or twice? Was that on a loop?
No, I think it just went once.
Yeah.
Yes, it was great. It was so enjoyable. I thought it just scrolled and started going again. All right, so I think that's what you're talking about with moving, that you can make it creative. So Jacoby, can you tell us a little bit about that video? And also, I think you wrote some really. I've noticed what you write is impactful. Like the whole story is sort of completed next to the video.
Thank you.
No,
So
yeah.
yeah, this is just a video of a closing day. Of course, like Nicole said, we include a media agreement in our purchase agreement, and so they already consent to have their stuff done. And of course, I give them a heads up, like, hey, we will be recording today, as long, of course, if they're good with it, we'll be recording at your closing day. So there's not much planning or preparation that goes into it beyond when she arrived. Like the stuff that you see in this video is like what naturally occurred when she arrived. We came up, hugged, so you just do your closing day as you would have someone recording or have a tripod up and record it, and then I go back at the end and put all the clips together. I already had the drone footage, so the drone shots you see in here, I already had those from whenever I was initially marketing the home. And so I just put them all together in a video like this. Obviously, I include certain things strategically, like the car, because we know people like seeing that and it just draws attention. There's certain things that—
It's your car, right? That's your Range Rover that is in a lot of your videos. Yeah, it is Brad, Max again. Here's Max again. He loves your car, like as do I. But it's really gangster. You roll up in your Range Rover for closing. That's pretty cool, right there.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, aspirationally.
Thank you. I'm one of those people of like, some people are like, why you always post your car? But people like seeing it, and it's something like, I'm someone who I follow people on social media who are either inspire me or they can teach me something or they can motivate me. And so I follow a lot of people who have nice things. And that's something that I enjoy seeing, and so, but I incorporate little clips like that just to grab a larger audience attention. And this is something exciting. Obviously, it's closing day. It wasn't my closing day. It's not yours, but seeing the excitement in this video just really captures people's attention. And then something that I get often, like, it's funny, whenever I get a new buyer that came from social media, they're like, okay, so what are we doing in our closing day video? I'm like, this is just discovery. Like, this is my first time meeting you.
They only bought the home to get in the closing video. That's the whole motivation.
Let's find the home.
Wow.
So
that's a really good point, because we've had that, like, people be like, oh, I saw this testimonial or I saw this home tour video. I'm really excited to do that as well when I do that.
Wow,
yeah, so
amazing.
It's cool because you do stuff like this, and then a potential buyer can see it and they're like, oh, I want a video. And I've even had one before where she was like, hey, can we do this in my video? And I'm like, absolutely, you can do whatever you want. So I mean, getting people involved in that way, and they're excited to have their special day. At this one in particular, actually, at the end of it, after her home was closed, I edited and put this all together about a week later, and I sent it to her before I posted it, like, hey, look at this, make sure you're good with it. And she said her response was something along the lines of like, I love this, and now I want to buy another home so we can make another video.
It's very touching. It really is. And look, for those builders that are concerned about branding, look at the opening shot. It's the Timbercraft keychain. So it's definitely the builder, but then there's a lot of Jacoby's personality in this. Like, you just closed on your dream home with Jacoby. So it's that marriage of the two things together, which is, I think we have to move forward with this idea and not be so entrenched in, oh my goodness, a salesperson with a personality on social media is going to threaten the brand for the builder. I think it has to be collaborated. What do you guys think in that regard? That it's not one or the other.
Collaboration is huge there, and it's just more like it's sneakily in there. I like that. Or it's just kind
sneakily in there,
an Easter egg. Like, ooh, I'm looking for that. I think this story is a great testament to it. When people come in and they say they're not really looking.
Right. That's what it says in the verbiage. Yeah.
We didn't even talk about this specific.
Yeah. Can you share with us? You want to just read
it? Of this particular.
Just tell us.
She came in to an open house, and for a little bit more context, she actually came in looking. She would be okay with me saying this. She came in looking for a rental home. She was a first-time buyer, first home purchase. She thought that the homes in this neighborhood were rentals. Came in because she seen the rental sign. And whereas I could have been like, oh, no, they're not rental homes. I'm like, well, why do you want to rent? Have you ever considered buying? Of course, like every is an
emotional.
And so that was one where it just worked out perfectly, where she's like, no, I have never considered buying. No one in my family has ever bought a home. And so for her, she thought it was impossible. It wasn't something that was realistic. And so this story in particular has so many good key takeaways, but that's a huge one for those people who are in sales that are watching this. If someone comes in and says they're just looking, or they're looking for a rental, like, don't just stop there. Now, don't be too pushy, obviously, and run them away, but ask questions. I wanted to know, why was she looking for a rental home, and why?
Look,
and she had never tried. And she was so gracious, and now she's in her new home. But had I been like, nope, these are not rentals, she probably, I wouldn't have this great video, and she wouldn't be a homeowner today. So.
Well, you're a great
to the buyers, and then also other people in sales, I think, should be following, because I think those are great stories.
Exactly. You're a great salesperson, a great storyteller. Can you read that last paragraph for us? It's so, I want the full on Jacoby voice. So because I just read it, but I heard your voice.
Are you referencing the one that says welcome home?
Yeah. This is the perfect approach to sales, I think.
It says, welcome home, Jay. I couldn't be happier for you. Thank you for trusting me to guide you through this journey, and Timbercraft to build your new home. Sorry, it's kind of small.
I know it is small.
One funny thing about her, she pulled up, and there's actually, I don't know if there's a clip of it in this video, but my license plate on my car, which is also very strategic, and it's a marketing tactic, my license plate says Jay sold it. And so, and I've gotten sales from that record of a random person at a gas station, and they're like, hey, what do you sell?
It could be a lot of things.
Yes. But so it was funny, because as we were walking into the home, she said, Jay sold it and Jay bought it, because her name starts with the J too. And so that's the J.
Oh, right. I see.
There's like little things like that I think, you may not think about, but they really make a big difference and a lasting impact. Before we move on, Roland, you said something earlier about like the fact of, in that video, how I had, like the Timbercraft logo is the first thing that you see, and there's like subtle instances of it. And I know there are a lot of builders, as you said, that are kind of concerned about an individual person having, like you said, a social media presence and things like that. The big thing that was key for us was the fact that me winning and having a social media presence, as long as it is obviously positive and not making the builder look bad in a negative way, there's no way for the builder not to win, because I can only sell Timbercraft homes. And so someone coming and doing business with me is doing business with Timbercraft, and there's no competition. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. It does make sense. Yeah.
If everyone's working to bring in their leads together, marketing's working towards you, you're working towards it, like that's success. That's more leads than one. So yeah,
I mean, if you think about it, the opposite of this would be, here's a picture of an empty house. And I call it house on purpose because it's a home with people move into it. And you're a person and you make it warm, and your stories are very comforting and very real. And you're a guide, which is the perfect approach to sales. You're not the star, you're the guide to get them there, the guide to get them there. And that's how you're approaching it all. But the home only really comes alive with the furniture, first of all, but really with people walking through it. So I think it's just the more I watch all of your videos, the more I appreciate this perfect marriage of, of person and content, if that makes any sense. That it's a story of you, even the leaves. I'm obsessed by those leaves being thrown because I wonder, who are these two unusual ladies that are throwing leaves, and they're like, why are they doing that? And I want a home. I might as well go see them. What have I got to lose, kind of stuff. They seem pretty pleasant. And if that's what it takes to get me in the door, as opposed to a floor plan, which wouldn't have got me in the door, or something quite boring, then it's a win on every level, and then you get to meet each other, and now you're celebrating this person's story, her story. Like, I can tell Jacoby you're proud of her because she was going to rent. You said no one in her family ever bought a home. That's crazy. So they just keep renting because they didn't think they could buy. So you changed their life. You changed their destiny with your damn social media. So there we go. So there's that. All right. I've got time for one more. Is that okay? Do you have? Could you guys one more? We'll talk about one more Jacoby video, and but Jacoby is available to consult for you and help you improve your social media presence.
Except in Oklahoma.
Except in Oklahoma, yeah.
Exceptions apply.
Between Oklahoma City and Edmonds, right? You're Oklahoma City, not Edmonds, right? Is that
both? We have developments.
Oh, you both? Yeah. All right. So now this one really, I remembered that I must have read it and heard your voice in my head, because there are no words to this, right? It's just music.
So yeah, this post, there's no words or context to the actual video. What I'm doing in the video is I was actually writing a purchase agreement. So this one was just like more of a relatable post where I wanted people to read the caption of the story, obviously.
Yeah.
But the action in the video was me actually writing the purchase agreement that I referenced. So it says, true story. My phone rings this morning while in a team meeting. I call the number back afterwards, and it's a lady who says, I can't even remember who it was, but I was telling someone a few weeks ago that we need to buy a new house. They told me to look you up, and I remembered your name today. Do you have any 4-bedroom homes that I can look at? I went and met her 30 minutes later. Fast forward to this evening. Here I am writing the purchase agreement for the
Can't fit all that.
in Echo Park. It's currently 7:36 p.m. and I'm just finishing up and heading out of the office. I started today with a prayer and positive manifestation that something would come up. And while I do believe that favor exists, I also know that hard work and consistency will always pay off in the end. Who told her about me? No clue, but it's always a good feeling when you know that your name is mentioned in rooms you've never stepped in. Keep posting, keep prospecting, keep positive. Something will come up sooner than later.
Wow. Gosh, there's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, that's a lot to unpack.
Isn't that lovely? Yeah, I'll bet a little bit of music and then we'll.
A little tear about to shed.
I know one too. Nice musical choice. So there he is, burning the midnight oil. You're so passionate to get that written. So yes, I think that's a perfect way to start to wrap up this this podcast, because it brings it all together so nicely. So yeah. I'm sort of touched by that, really. It's amazing. Somebody you never met before but felt compelled to contact you. I love that you manifest or pray. I do the same thing every day. I don't ever talk, I don't teach it, but I think something quite private, but I want to get my mind in the right place every day. And so it takes work sometimes. You wake up grumpy, and you got the world out there, the external, so you got to create a good space. So you talk about manifesting that and working on that. So if you could talk to that, and then let's hear from Nicole and Cody, and we'll say our goodbyes.
Well, I mean, Roland, I think this is a business where you can put forth 100% effort one day and maybe get some results out of it, or maybe not. And so sometimes that can be discouraging whenever you are putting in effort and something doesn't come up for a week, or maybe it's 2 weeks. But what we do know is that when you stay consistent in what you know works and what you know you're supposed to be doing, it will eventually pay off. And so the cool thing about that particular video was at the time when I wrote it, we didn't know exactly who told her. I do know now. and it's someone that I don't know. The person who
Right.
told her is just another person that follows me. I don't follow them back. I don't know them, never had any business with them. They just follow me on social media. They ran into
Wow.
a friend who says they're looking to buy a house, and they're like, hey, you should call this guy. And so that's how that happened. And so that just speaks to, I don't know with that one what specific video they seen, but what I do know is that if I
Right.
consistently post, obviously people will continue to see it, and then they'll think of
Right.
me whenever they think of buying a new home. And so my,
Wow.
I guess, closing takeaway that I want
Yeah.
people to have is to just post the content and know what your goal is. If your goal is to drive business, that should be your motivation every single day, no matter how you look or how you feel about the video. Post it and
Right.
stay consistent with it, and the results will come.
Yeah.
I
Does
think that video was like not only the words behind that, but the shot of that video and the sun, the way the sun comes in the windows,
I
and
know.
like the aesthetic of it, the music in the background, like it really, once you read it, it like the two of
Right.
those meld so well together, and I think it makes you
Yeah.
feel something of like, oh, that late night at the office, but you're really proud and really,
Right.
like you just felt that with that. I think that was a
Yeah.
great use of both of those too.
I guess being a salesperson is why I get emotional, because having been a sales guy all my life, there are down days. You'll have days where you write sales and lose them for reasons out of your control, or traffic is slow, and yet every day is rinse, repeat, get up, do the right thing, work hard, prospect, get on the phone, call your realtors, make social media and create posts. And then good things happen. They just do. You get rewarded for that output, that good energy you put in the universe. It does come back to you, not always the same day, and not always from people that you know. I get weird, requests for business, not weird requests, but requests that to me are weird. I say, how did you hear about it? I said, well, I think somebody mentioned you. I was like, all right, well, great. But I have done a lot of the right thing. So, I think it's deserved, and that's what you're putting out there. So, and that feeling of writing agreement in the evening when everyone else is gone, but that you're changing somebody's life by writing this agreement, it's just a fantastic feeling. So kudos to you. Yeah. Nicole and Cody, what would you like to share as sort of advice and takeaways for your audience out there? And thank you so much for all of you for your time, by the way.
Yeah,
This
thank
has
you for
been
having us.
really
And
special.
from my perspective, I think working sales and marketing working together is, I know we preach this heavily here, and
Yeah.
some days are easier than others. I'm not saying we do it all the time, but to be able to at least have that mindset that we should be working together, and that content is no different. Like we need to be
Right.
able to have both sides of the coin here, and help hype each other up and get excited about these things. And when it's not as easy on the salespeople to post it, like it's good for marketing to step in and be their hype people.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my takeaway is marketers be the hype people for the salespeople, and salespeople
Yeah.
work with, the marketing people want to help you. They want to help you.
Yeah.
I promise.
If I can, yeah, I've seen that in action with you and Cassie. I think Cassie calls you, was it chips and salsa or something? That
Yeah,
one of
yeah.
you are chips, one of you are salsa. And until you see it in action, you don't really appreciate how valuable it is that sales are out there front line, but they have so much feedback and input for marketing. And marketing has so much help that you can provide to frontline sales if you just talk with each other. If you just get in the same room and sort of collaborate. It's remarkable. When I watched that meeting, I was like, oh, this is what it should look like. But I very rarely see it, executed at such a great level. So hats off to you for that. Cody, some thoughts, some advice for all of us out there
Yeah.
still trying to sell homes.
From my end, I would just say to always be trying something new. And if that for you, if new is creating videos, if you're a sales agent and you've never really, dove into the making videos, I think
Yeah.
Jacoby is a great example to look at and to just kind of see like, oh, it can help and it can change. And I'm not saying everyone's gonna, grow to the number of followers that Jacoby has, but
Right.
you might is the thing. And that's the world we live in. And social's very prevalent, video is very prevalent. And so that's a big thing with my role and what we're doing at Chesapeake Homes and from the brand level is we're constantly trying different things. And if something pops, if something works, we make sure to make that stick and keep doing it. But once we have 4 or 5 things that we're doing, we're not done. We're still
Yeah.
trying other things. And I think you can see that a lot in our social content that we're kind of always just trying new things. And we really do approach every single challenge that we face the same. And we always give it the same kind of energy where we're just like, how can we best go about this and get over this or get past this challenge? And
Right.
we do that every time, and there's really no limitations to what it is that we'll create.
Perfect. So just take risks and try different things. That's what really stands out when you look at art and creativity. It's not being the same. It's not following the crowd. It's creating something different. And then people go, "Oh, that was amazing. Why didn't I think of that? That was just wonderful." So I'm gonna say farewell. I appreciate all of you. Oh, I just realized I wasn't recording this. No, I'm
Don't
just
lie.
I'm just kidding. There we go. It's not even April. I just thought it'd be funny to say. All right, guys, thank you so much. I need to start laughing. I've been crying after Jacoby's video. So you guys really touched me. I didn't expect that. It was really a lovely time. Thank you to all three of you. Thank you for your heart and soul and the effort you put into things and passion you bring to your work. It's quite incredible, and hopefully our audience will have just so many takeaways that they can emulate after watching this. So thank you again.
Thank you, Roland.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Bye.
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 Well, here I am with one of my all-time favorite people, Brittany Horner, and Brittany is director of marketing, excuse me, and online sales for Mitchell Homes. Did I get that right, Brittany?
Yes, sir.
All right. It's lovely to see you. Thank you so much for spending the time with us today. I'm really thrilled to get to know you. So thanks so much for tuning in. All
Thank you
right.
for asking, Roland.
Not at all.
Congrats.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you. Yeah, my goal is to really show people what excellence looks like. I'm calling it excellence in action. And so, as lovely as everybody is and want to get to know everybody, I think there's just great value to show people across the country what this really looks like. And so I can't wait to sort of for the audience to get to meet you and learn about you. But also I'm looking forward to showing a few clips of what you've created and what you're doing to help Mitchell Homes really grow and expand that business. So yeah. So why don't we get started? Can you show me that pen again, by the way? That was sort of cute just now. What's very shocking. What does that
Don't
say?
have one of these pens, you need to find Roland. Great. They have a little highlighter
There we
and
go.
they're great.
I like big butts. There we go. I would buy a butt. I don't know about Mitchell Homes. What are you going to do for me? So before we get going, can you tell me just a little bit about yourself? What's your background and what do what do you do at Mitchell?
Sure. So I grew up in Richmond, Virginia,
Oh, wow.
and I saw a gap at Mitchell Homes in 2019. There was not an advertising and marketing department. So I, went to the owner and told him what I could do, grew that department from the ground up. And then
Good for
in
you.
2023, noticed another gap, and that was the opportunity to create the online sales department. The customer experience and instant gratification world we live in is so important. Speed, getting back to the customers. It's like fishing. You got to reel them in quick or they're on to the next. So that has been my mission, to elevate our customer experience over the past 6 years.
Good. And how's it been going?
It's been going. I think that,
Good.
This past year and a half has been a massive culture shift. So just grateful for the team and their positive attitude as we do
Oh, good.
and introduce so many changes to
Mhm.
elevate and, help our business and culture evolve.
Yeah. Perfect. So you almost created that position with Mitchell Homes between the marketing department and then the online sales counselor. So when it comes to the use of video, I know that you have two, are we calling them both podcasts, Construction Conversations and Behind the Build? And so can you tell us what was the thought process behind each one, and what was it that you were trying to resolve or fix or introduce to the world with doing these podcasts?
Yeah, I think that, just studying our audience and the social media algorithms for years now, I work closely with Scott Sleemy, our president, and Devin Sellers, our EVP. And, Devin, big shout out to him because fall of 2023, we just went for it. And, the Construction Conversations video series was not scripted. Devin is so talented in a way where he's so passionate about the business and helping customers. He ad-libbed most of it. And then with Scott and Devin's yin and yang leadership, we had the idea of creating the podcast because, with the appointments that our lovely sales consultants hold with our customers, There
Hmm.
can be so many moving pieces and parts in the world of building on your land and customizing
Right.
your home. So this was really our goal to avoid any potential miscommunication gaps through
Hmm.
this long form and short form content.
Right. Interesting. So it's a way of introducing Devin and Scott, the owner of Mitchell Homes, to a larger audience. But also, are you saying it's sort of a sales tool to explain some components of the sales process that maybe the salespeople won't get to or don't always get to, or at least the buyer should understand it? So could you explain more about how it sort of ties in with sales and that proactive way?
I think that if we educate and motivate our
Mhm.
customers pre-appointment through their
Sure.
digital journey, website to appointment, they're
Hmm.
warmed up to us, and that trust is already being built
Interesting.
from digital journey to potential agreement signing. It makes
Right.
it feel more natural, and they see who we are, they know that our team is passionate, and they
Yeah.
understand our process because we're being transparent and building confidence.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
Interesting. Good, good, good. And I want to wait and get into the results in a little bit. I know it's something that grows sort of organically as the more you do, the more it grows and you get that audience. But I'd love to start showing a couple of videos. And I sort of picked out one behind the build with Devin talking about foundations. And then with construction conversations, there was one that I love, I like them all, but contract to keys look really cool. I think the guys that got warmed up, this is like their third or fourth one, so you could tell they were very relaxed. Which one should we start with, behind the build or contract to keys? Which one do you think would be better?
Yeah, so Contract to Keys was our third episode of Behind the Build, where
Okay,
Scott and Devin go through our entire process. So
right.
and like customers are confident, they're aware,
So
they're really empowering themselves to make their investment decision.
this is the behind the build, and it's the owner Scott Sleemy and Devin, the president, talking about the journey. So let's go.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Behind the Build with Scott and Devin. I'm Scott.
And I'm Devin.
Today's episode is going to be about your journey as a customer from start to finish. We're going to tell you everything from the moment you visit our website until the day you walk into your new home with your key in your hand.
We hope that it enlightens you and that you enjoy kind of hearing us knuckleheads talk about what we got going on as far as how you can go ahead and purchase a home with Mitchell.
We've talked about it in previous episodes. The whole reason for this podcast is to really communicate better and to let people know, what's going to happen, and to really be transparent in everything that we do, so that we don't miss anything. And we're still going to miss stuff, but this one is really important. I think.
Yeah.
I've been a little bit.
All right, there we go. I think that's plenty to give everyone an idea of the two of them. They have a good screen chemistry, don't they?
They have great chemistry. We just call them yin and yang because
Yeah.
so Devin joined about 3 years ago, and I've been here for 6 and just have seen great support shift with Scott, and just someone being his rock, and just really appreciate
Right.
that growth in Devin's leadership and bringing us all together instead of working as separate cogs. And
Good.
yeah.
Yeah. So on that one, it was very laid back, and I think it was about 15 minutes of
Oh,
them.
these podcasts can be between 45 minutes to an
Oh,
hour.
oh
Yeah.
wow. Okay. So help me understand that. I mean, I just showed a 1 minute excerpt. They're talking about the journey for the customer, so the customer can both get used to Mitchell Homes, but understand what their responsibilities are going to be and what it looks and feels like. Overcome those fears of what they don't know yet. When they come in there. But can you talk to me a little bit more about what you wanted to accomplish with that video and what you've been able to accomplish with it, if that's okay?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just, one thing in our data that I've seen is non-responsive leads watch the video through the marketing mass emails and
Okay.
then begin to engage with our online sales team.
Really?
So, they weren't encouraged to call us and engage before, but these podcasts are warming them up, getting them curious. We encourage them to take notes and then come to our online sales team, or if they're already
Perfect.
with an on-site rep, get the process going and then keep it
Sure.
moving. We want to help. Mhm.
Well, good. Now, and with the how-tos of this, so we're sort of in a little bit where you've talked about the why you've done it. On the how-tos, that just looked very laid back. You look like two guys, two fun guys, two knuckleheads, to quote Devin, just having a conversation, which is endearing in itself. So tell me your thought process about that. Is there much editing, or do you just like to you do it live, let the guys roll with it and just see what comes out? Or what are your thoughts about the sort of naturalness and authenticness of how they communicate?
I love
Cool.
how authentic they are, and we wanted to keep it in-house and make it casual so that customers aren't intimidated by high production. And in our, analytics I study, our user-generated content that is more of a low production look performs better every time.
Does
So
it?
yeah, and that's who we are. We are in-house, we're a full service design studio, and we
Sure.
we can't expect customers to speak our language. So we wanted to
Right.
educate them and
Sure.
really give them a realistic picture to the full landscape that we offer in-house. So
Amazing. And how is that sent out to the world? Is it recorded and sent out as a video you watch on YouTube? Do you do it live on Facebook or something or YouTube? But tell me how you get it out to the universe.
we plan the day for them to record. They send me
Hmm.
the footage when I work with the editing team. And then the editing team and we create a campaign and then a launch
Oh,
date.
wow.
And then we size out short form content from that long term or
Wow.
long form content
Yeah.
to just, create reels and invite our audience to watch the full episode.
Wow. So I mean, everyone loves reels. I say that as I do. I've short attention span. I think it's ruined our ability to focus very long. But so what you're saying is that you have one long form, one long form video that you don't really interrupt. It could be an hour, and you aren't afraid that people will jump off in an hour. It's okay to make it as long as you want to, basically.
It's
From
okay
what?
to watch whatever you feel you need help with. And if you
Yeah,
want
to
to
get.
watch the
Okay.
full episode and
Sure.
really dive into the full process, we love that. We welcome that. But if the full video isn't going to serve you, you can just go through and find
Yeah.
with what you need
I
help
bet.
or with. Yeah.
Perfect. And then out of that one segment, you're making all these little reels out of it of some best clips to show people. So it really it has so many uses. It's incredible. Well, good. What kind of results are you getting? Let's talk about results from that format, and then we'll get into the behind the build, the shorter ones, like where Devin goes out on site and shows you how to build a home, or the parts in that as well. But what results are you getting? How do you what's what I'm trying to say? How do you confirm what the ROI is? Like, how can you track what people are doing and how that connects to them walking in the door and that kind of stuff, driving in traffic necessarily?
Because in Google Analytics, it's our second top performing page.
Really? Wow.
So with
Incredible.
the marketing strategy team and we will dig into that. Of course, our top performing page is our floor plans page. That's where people want to narrow it down to one of a kind. But behind the build, we're already seeing that ROI and that web to lead boost in our metric.
Really?
Yeah,
Perfect.
we saw it in
Good.
January when we launched everything immediately.
Fair enough. Oh, on the how to, how often are you wanting to release video from them, and whether there's construction conversation behind the build, like what's the cadence of what would be enough to satisfy your algorithms and get the audience's attention and that kind of stuff?
Behind the build, we aim for one episode a month, and then
Okay.
construction conversations, we put out 9 videos at once to just have a library available quickly. That was in 2023. And then Devin and I worked together with production to create videos as we feel it's appropriate and needed and requested by the customer. So
Sure.
with the YouTube and Meta engagement and just other social media platforms, I pay attention to customer comments, questions, and then I send them to Scott and Devin to review for potential podcast episodes and Q&A
Oh,
with
great.
podcasts. Yeah.
Perfect. Good. So not really an exact formula to the amount of release time. Once a month is a minimum for the big videos, and then lots of little pieces that will go out and be posted in places so that they're showing up everywhere. And,
Yeah.
and And what kind of viewership have you got so far? I know you've only been doing it, you said, since 2023, but what are you seeing in terms of or audience that you're gaining from that?
Oh, well, over the past year, I mean, Instagram alone is very hard to grow organically, and
Yeah,
we
it is.
2,000 followers, now we're over 3,100. So
Yeah,
a lot of that is due to ads, of course, and paid advertising, but
sure.
majority of it is organically grown from behind the build
Perfect.
and construction conversations, because there are humans present, people connect immediately with that, and then we're just
Sure.
going above and beyond to be transparent, as Scott said, and
Yeah, I
they
love it.
and just help them move forward. It's not easy,
Well,
So
good. All right. But no, that sounds great. Let me show the behind the build. There were lots to choose from. Let me bring them up, and I think we'll do the foundation where Devin is out there talking about what a foundation is and all that kind of stuff. I learned a lot. I've been doing this my whole life, and I learned from him just now.
Hi, my name is Devin Sellers. Welcome to Construction Conversations. We're in beautiful Powhatan, Virginia, and today's conversation is foundations. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. I love that.
A structurally sound foundation is key to the longevity of your home. Once the home site has been determined on your lot, we order a geotech report, which will drill 2 soil borings within the footprint of your foundation to determine what type of foundation and footing you will receive. In simple terms, it's like understanding the personality of the ground that your house will be sitting on. As a result of the geotech report on this specific lot, it was determined that we have shrink swell soil capacity. What that means is with moisture, it can expand and contract. We don't want to build your home on that. So what we do is we over excavate, which means we just dig it deeper down to native soil or away from the shrink swell soil potential. We then backfill with stone, pour the footing on top, and build your foundation from there.
I think that's perfect for the audience, by the way. A round of applause for that.
he crushed it.
He did crush it. He really did. Let's get into it. I love that's very Devin. It's high D. Let's just get into it quickly. But I wanted to ask. It looks great. It is very educational. Anybody who wants to watch any of these videos, we'll put the link in on the podcast so you can go watch them all. And I would strongly recommend it, whether you're in sales or marketing and want to emulate what you've done here. But my question was about the production quality, because it looked pretty highly produced. You had drone footage at the beginning and that kind of stuff. So can you tell us a little bit about how you set those up and what's involved in those?
Yeah, it was high production. And I mean, just finding local companies, finding the best fit, how are they going to work with Scott and Devin, and then just going from there. But really looking for that drone footage too, to showcase the beauty of and privacy of building on your own home site versus production
Right.
in a community. Yeah.
Fair enough. Is that sort of a barrier to entry for some people, that it is so well produced, or are they all that highly produced, or do you feel that it's on a case by case?
Construction Conversations was because they're much shorter videos, but for
Right.
Behind Build, that was just a setup that I came up with one of my editing teammates. We just went to Mitchell Homes and, set up the cameras, lighting, and now sneak peek with our new episode, we have added a green screen just to elevate
Oh,
things
nice.
further. So
Fair
you'll
enough.
also notice that Scott and Devin have professional mics now in the new episode. Just
Yeah, yeah.
keeping it fun and exciting for our people. Yeah.
Right. So it sort of grows. I think there were the 7 or 9 of those ones in the field that Devin has done.
I think it's about 9 or 10 at this point.
9 or 10 of them. Have you got plans to do more of those, or are you going to do more of the just conversational ones where they sit in the office and chat with each other?
Construction Conversations library will always be growing.
Okay.
As Devin requests it, and the online sales reps and we find opportunity and bring to Devin. But
Sure.
Behind the Build, you can expect an episode every month.
Every month of that. Okay, yeah, that's a little easier to sort of navigate for that. Is there a level when Jacoby and and Nicole and Cody, we were talking earlier, and what they were saying is there's a certain cadence that if you're going to go into the social media realm, that your consumer gets used to seeing something, on a regular basis, and if you stop, that can really work against you. So have you found that too, that there's if you're going to commit to this, there's a certain number you need to do, maybe don't worry about the production quality so much as just get content out there that's valuable and has good information in it, but it doesn't have to look perfect every time or something to satisfy the audience's need for content from you.
No, I mean, different types of content are going to resonate with different people. So I would
Mhm.
encourage everyone, and something that's been helping me is, teaming up with one of our design coordinators, for
Oh,
example.
sure.
She
Mhm.
will make hilarious videos. Like for example, April Fools, she pranked one of our
I
new
saw that, yeah.
homes down there, and it's just hilarious. Like that's who we are, and she just filmed that on her phone and sent it to me. So it
Okay,
can be just as simple as you seeking out that information and content needed, getting creative with other departments and
sure.
collaborating with them. It's so important you show and feature different departments in your content so that customers can
Right.
understand, like I said, that full landscape.
Yeah, perfect. I sort of, sorry. This has been great. It really has. You've done a great job, Brittany, and I've learned so much. I want to wind down in a few seconds, but just want to sort of wrap up talking about actual results, ROI. Have any of the salespeople confirmed that their buyers have watched these videos and that's sort of been an instrumental part in their decision to maybe just walk in the first place because they have sort of a sense of familiarity with Scott, Devon, the process like that? Is there any feedback yet from the sales team on these videos?
Do you know that almost every customer that walks
No.
in says that they watched the podcast and they
Have they
love it?
really?
So they're bringing that energy
Right.
pre-appointment is, even better. Those appointments can be intimidating and scary, and we
Yeah. Yeah.
don't want that. That's not who we are. So
Right. So how integral would you say doing these videos is now as part of the sort of business slash marketing plan for Mitchell Homes? How integral are the videos and the podcast going forward going to be in that, would you say?
it just aligns so well with our mantra, which is we listen, we care, we deliver, and
Nice.
emphasizing that by showing up consistently and listening to what our customers are asking for, not ignoring
Sure.
that. That's not what we're trying to do here.
Yeah, perfect. Well, thank you so much for sharing. It's been wonderful. Your work is great. I love your the sort of diversity from really well produced or highly produced in the field footage with drones and stuff to just a conversation amongst two really great guys chatting about the process. So it's been really helpful. Any last thoughts, any advice you would give to people that maybe are about to embark on this journey and are running into barriers? Maybe ownership is saying it's too much of a commitment or it's too expensive, and any advice, because you've been in that situation, as a marketing slash online sales manager. Any advice you have for others?
I would say just go for it and be consistent with your processes, hold the hosts accountable. Scott and Devin, everything goes across their desk. So do your job in holding them accountable. It's not demanding,
Sure.
it's keeping that information in front of your customer, which that's your job.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be a big investment. You can get
Sure.
clip-on mics from Amazon. You can use your phone to record. Don't be afraid, just take a chance and
Okay.
yeah, just take a
I
chance.
love it. Yeah, just go for it. Just do it and don't overthink it. And that's really how entrepreneurs operate. We just have an idea and go for it, and we'll perfect it sort of later. But I think the more human, the more authentic it feels, the more the audience likes it anyway. So there's not really a reason to have to wait till you get the perfect production value and stuff like that. It's just
No,
just keep it real.
no, just be intentional, have a
Yeah,
plan, make sure it makes sense for everyone
sure.
involved, and yeah, just go for it. It's really it can be scary, hearing your voice and seeing yourself on camera, but
Yeah.
you'll get over it over time.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, exactly. So, Brittany, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for showing us Excellence in Action. That's the name of the podcast, and you've really fulfilled it beautifully. Thank you so much for all you bring to the table. I'm really proud to know you and consider myself a friend.
I'm proud to know you too. You've helped us so much, Roland, and we're
Oh,
excited to keep growing with you. And everyone go subscribe, Turn your notifications on and stay tuned in to Roland's wisdom.
Oh, you're very sweet. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
EXCIA.